The octet rule is that all atoms want to have 8 valence electrons in their outer electron shell. Atoms will gain or lose electrons from the valence shell to give us ions. Metals always lose an electron. Nonmetals almost always gain the electron. The gaining and losing of valence electrons allows for us to make ions, which in turn make ionic compounds. When an electron is lost, a cation is formed, having a positive charge. When an electron is gained, a negative charge is caused, meaning we have an anion. An anion and a cation gives us an ionic compound. With very few exceptions, metals tend to form cations and nonmetals form anions. The charges on ions of elements in group A through 7A on the periodic table are fairly predictable. The cations that form from elements of group 1, 2, and 3A have charges equal to their respective group numbers. Most of the anions that form from elements of group 4A through 7A have charges equal to the corresponding group number, -8. For example, the anion formed by oxygen, group 6A, has a charge of 6 minus 8. Therefore, the charge is equal to -2. While there are singular atom ions, there are also polyatomic ions. These are ions that consist of a combination of 2 or more atoms. Phosphate, sulfate, and carbonate are examples of these. Of an ionic compound is indicated by the smallest whole number ratio in which the ions combine to form an electrically neutral substance. For example, while sodium chloride is formed in massive crystals with multiple sodiums and multiple chlorides, its molecular formula is written as NaCl, meaning 1 sodium and 1 chloride, because this is the smallest whole number ratio which it can be reduced to. To name a monoatomic ion, the cation would just be the name of the element and add ion to the end. For example, hydrogen ion. To name an anion, you would add "ide" to the end. For example, chloride. To name an ionic compound, you would simply use the name of the cation followed by the name of the anion and eliminate the word ion from each. For example, sodium chloride. Ionic compounds have their own unique naming system. Greek prefixes are never used in naming ions. Instead, if the charge is unknown because it is a transition metal that can have multiple ions, the charge will be specified with Roman numerals. For example, lead 4. An oxoanion is a polyatomic anion that contains 1 or more oxygen atoms and 1 atom of another element. What is a hydrate? A hydrate is an ionic compound that also contains water molecules within its solid structure.